which there has been a full media blackout on, was what he alleged about Lucian Grainge, who is the president and at the top of Universal Music, right? He's got a lot of power, and this is what it said in that lawsuit. It reads, according to Mr. Jones, whenever defendant Grainge, that's Lucian Grainge, visited Mr. Combs at his home, it would be in the evening, and he and Mr. Combs would disappear for hours in Mr. Combs' bedroom. Defendant Grainge sponsored and attended several Love album listening parties at Mr. Combs' home in Los Angeles, California. These parties were sponsored by the defendants and UMG, that's Universal Music Group. As evidenced above, these parties had sex workers and underage girls present. During these parties, defendant Grainge knew or should have known that Mr. Combs was drugging the attendees through laced bottles of tequila and Ciroc vodka. It is no secret that Mr. Combs had specific bottles of alcohol designated for females and other bottles that were designated for his staff, his artists, and himself. This fact was detailed by former artists and bodyguards of Mr. Combs. As a sponsor of these events, defendant Grainge had a duty and an obligation to ensure that sex workers and underage girls were not present and that Mr. Combs was not spiking the alcohol with date rape drugs. Okay. Do you recall having Lucian Grainge testify, be called to testify, anything like that? Okay. So you're telling me the person above Diddy is this guy and they're just not interested in speaking to him at all. Also in that lawsuit, obviously, Christina Karam was mentioned as the Ghislaine Maxwell, the person who made everything happen, the person who made sure that Diddy was constantly on drugs. Again, this is all allegedly. We're reading a lawsuit filed by Little Rod. I don't know if this is true, but I do know that if I am the feds and I'm trying to bring down an operation that we're not executing, I am certainly going to bring these people into the courtroom. But they weren't there.
Hi, it's Savvy Mike here, and the clip just finished, but before we get into my intro and the rest of this video, I do want to encourage everyone that is watching this video that at least wants to continue to watch my channel. I'm not saying you have to, I'm not saying you do, but please subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And the only way I could do that is by getting you to subscribe. And also on the screen, I have my Twitch channel up where I basically do all of these videos live on Twitch. Like that's where I do most of the lives at now. So if you want to watch me do these videos live, I'm usually on late at night. No matter what coast you're on, I'm on around the time you're probably asleep. So if you're ever just up with fucking insomnia, you just can't sleep, come on through. I love to chat it up. We could talk about the topics that I have and the clips that I'm playing and reacting to. And I'll also play the game and probably play some 2K, Marvel Rivals, FIFA, Mortal Kombat. A lot goes over here. So please, twitch.tv/SavvyMike96. It is in the description below. I am Savvy Mike, and this is I Am Savvy Mike TV. And just depending on the topic and the video and who I'm talking about, that's what's going to set the comments on fire. That's what's going to burn the comments to the ground. It just depends on who's on the screen. Because if I'm over here talking about Neon and saying, hey, Neon's a dickhead and we shouldn't be platforming him anyways. Why is he on the Breakfast Club? And why is Charlemagne, a known dickhead, a known troll, interviewing this man? If I say that, then all of a sudden I'm defending Neon. I'm defending the things he's saying and all this extra shit. And I'm like, wow, none of these people have ever watched me or looked at me or seen a video of me talking about Candace Owens. Not a single person in them comments that for some reason aren't there anymore. I don't know why. I can't tell you why. I wish I could. The comm got nuked. I didn't nuke it. I don't know what happened. It's just, it went from 100 comments to 0. I don't know. I can't tell you why. But regardless of it, the comments that were there, none of them fuckos have ever seen me do it, because they would know. They would know. I don't like Candace Owens. You know, while she says some things, and see, here they come. If I say she says some things that I can't agree with, she does. She does say some things that I can agree with. But she also says some idiotic things, and she's done some stupid shit that I just can't agree with. And we're probably here to hear some more. idiotic and stupid stuff. But this is a different topic. It's usually when she's on the politic tip. Because you want to know what my problem is with Candace Owens? I'll break it down right now. My issue is I don't like black women who are white leaning. That just makes no sense to me. And she is like the Superman of that. She's on steroids with it. Like, to the point where she will wear a White Lives Matter shirt. Now, while she was doing that while standing next to Kanye, so it was kind of like, hey, look, me and Kanye, White Lives Matter. At the same time, I don't necessarily vibe with that, because I feel like, one, if I don't think she really truly feels this way. I feel like it's a ploy, it's a gimmick, because it appeases a base that, she wants to keep playing into. And because it makes her a lot of money. But it also gets her into a lot of, situations and controversy. Like, if you don't know, she's being sued by the president of France. The president of fucking France is suing Candace Owens right now because she called his wife a man. This is who we're dealing with. Someone who doesn't have the facts laid out in front of them and just spew how they're quote unquote feeling, and in the end sound like a buffoon and sound like a person that's just, playing Samuel L. Jackson playing the character that Samuel L. Jackson played in Django Unchained. That's all that's going on here. In a roundabout way, that's what I was trying to say. Candace Owens ain't nothing but a house slave. To me, at least. But this ain't about my feelings about Candace Owens. Like I said, regardless of it, that just got every Candace Owens fan that watched this video, that was going to watch this, they just hop. These comms might get nuked some way, somehow a bomb might get dropped on this comm too. Who knows? We'll see. But regardless of it, no matter what y'all say, it don't really change my mind, because seeing and hearing is believing to me. And I go off how a person presents themselves. Because Maya Angelou, I quote this a lot. If you watch my videos, I quote this a lot. Maya Angelou famously said, when a person shows you who they are, you better believe them. So when Candace Owens showed me that she was a house slave, and she was the Negro type that preferred to be in the air conditioning instead of the field, and will do and say whatever she can to be in the house and not outside with the niggas, that's when I started to treat her how I needed to. But either way, apparently she has a problem with Lucian Grainge, and it's going viral. Candace Owens decided to cook Lucian Grainge. Let's listen.
By themselves. And it just happened to fact check true that he was a sex slave of Cassie. And we found that out again years later. You got to open your eyes and pay attention that these operations happen everywhere. And so when it came to the matter of Diddy, okay, for those of us who actually read the lawsuit that was filed by Little Rod, the producer, who had, he said, hours upon hours of footage proving all of his claims.
And I don't want to copyright strike because I just kind of went off on Candace Owens, so it might be a little bit of pausing here. But I just want to make another point, too. For someone who is so fact-based and these are the facts and this is that, blah, blah, she don't do no fucking research. Y'all tell me all the time, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I hope it's somebody in her comments telling her she don't know what the fuck she talking about. Because if she saw the interview, why is she taking the word of a man that was probably lying? Because that's what we're starting to find out. If Lil Rod had said anything credible, if that lawsuit was as credible as they're making it seem, then he would have been included in the trial. Because they had things, honestly, that had a lot to do with the celebrity stuff that we were trying to figure out. Lil Rod's lawsuit has the stuff with the Meek Mill stuff and the this and the that and the third, and the underage women and all this extra shit that never got brought up during the Fed case. So it's safe for me to assume, and it should be safe for Candace Owens to assume, that this nigga is lying. So why are we even taking his word as some truth? I get it fits whatever narrative. Like, she has a problem right now because, like I said, she's being sued by the president of fucking France. So Candace Owens is like Nicki Minaj at the moment, taking shots at anybody she can. But I wouldn't use Lil Rod as a source to take shots at Lucian and Grainge. I just wouldn't do that because now you're just setting yourself up for another fucking lawsuit.
The most significant page of that lawsuit, which there has been a full media blackout on, was what he alleged about Lucien Grainge, who is the president and at the top of Universal Music, right? He's got a lot of power, and this is what it said in that lawsuit. It reads, according to Mr. Jones, whenever defendant Grainge, that's Lucien Grainge, visited Mr. Combs at his home, it would be in the evening, and he and Mr. Combs would disappear for hours in Mr. Combs' bedroom. Defendant Grainge sponsored and attended several Love album listening parties at Mr. Combs' home in Los Angeles, California. These parties were sponsored by the defendants and UMG, that's Universal Music Group. As evidenced above, these parties had sex workers and underage girls present. During these parties, defendant Grainge knew or should have known that Mr. Combs was drugging the attendees through laced bottles of tequila and Ciroc vodka. It is no secret that Mr. Combs had specific bottles of alcohol designated for females and other bottles that were designated for his staff, his artists, and himself. This fact was detailed by former artists and bodyguards of Mr. Combs. As a sponsor of these events, defendant Grainge had a duty and an obligation to ensure that sex workers and underage girls were not present and that Mr. Combs was not spiking the alcohol with date rape drugs. Okay. Do you recall having Lucien Grainge testify, be called to testify, anything like that? Okay. So you're telling me the person above Diddy is this guy and they're just not interested in speaking to him at all. Also in that lawsuit, obviously, Christina Karam was mentioned as the Ghislaine Maxwell, the person who made everything happen, the person who made sure that Diddy was constantly on drugs. Again, this is all allegedly. We're reading a lawsuit filed by Lil Rod. I don't know that this is true, but I do know that if I am the feds and I'm trying to bring down an operation that we're not executing, I am certainly going to bring these people into the courtroom. But they weren't there. And then it gets even more interesting when you learn, and I've talked about this in the Epstein, our Epstein series that we've just begun. One of the things is changing your name, right? One of these elements that I instantly now distrust that tells me that we should be paying attention to someone is that men don't just change their names. Remember Robert Maxwell, he had 4 names. That's just weird for no reason. Lucien Grainge also changed his name. He used to be Michael G. And before that, he was an Epstein. I just don't trust people that change their names. So check out this article. I found this out in The Guardian, by the way, so you can fact check this is true. Forgotten and overlooked how Jewish designers dressed the Beatles and changed global fashion. Now, this article is about his father, Cecil G. And it tells us that Cecil G was actually Sasha Epstein. And then he became Cecil G, but he's here with his sons. And it says right here, Cecil G with his 3 sons, Roland, Nigel, and Michael G. And to the right there, that would be Lucien Grainge. I guess he was Michael G, but now he's Lucien Grainge. He's not in the UK, he's here. And I guess he went from working for the Beatles and climbed his way up, and now he's this huge record exec. There were so many conspiracy theories. Like, I wasn't alive for the Beatles era, but man, I'm starting to wonder about all of those Beatles conspiracy theories, because people then thought that there was some weird stuff that happened, right? People that died around them in mysterious circumstances, people that actually even believe that one of the people that died was a member of the Beatles. There's like the Paul McCartney is dead theory. A lot of weird stuff, conspiracies, want to be clear, involving the Beatles. And so now you get to this point that you have this person who was a tailor for the Beatles, who's not at the top of Universal Music Group. And I would imagine that he'd be a person that I'd want to speak to, at the very least, who's changed his name, to figure out what is happening with Diddy. So yeah, when I look at this entire picture, what's clear to me is that Trump is once again being instructed to cover up a blackmail operation, okay? That is what's happening. Trump is once again being instructed to cover up a state blackmail operation. And the question is why, okay? And the answer to that is likely because knowing that our government funds drug parties and sex parties and potentially allows underage girls to be at those parties, in order for them to ultimately control our perception by blackmailing those people in the attendees of the parties. Not for the faint of heart. Sure, not for the faint of heart. But the expectation, if you are going to say that you are committed to dismembering the deep state, if you are going to really say that and run on that and run on Epstein and run on the corruption of DC.
Now, look, like I said, she says a lot I disagree with, but she did just say something I do agree with. Do I think they're telling Trump to cover this shit up? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But, like, look, I mean, I've already expressed this once, and this is what I'm truly waiting on. The Democrats pulled something out their ass. They've said, hey, y'all got to the 15th to give us the full Epstein for everything. Unseal it. We need to see it so we can tell the public and show the public what's really going on. So we'll see by the 15th if they get them Epstein files or not, or if they're part of the cover up as well. But, you know, I don't like dissing the feds over here. Not at all. I'm surprised Candace Owens is on their head top of shit. Might as well be when the president of France is suing you. At that point, you're dealing with international feds on your head. You might as well get the American feds on your head top too. So regardless of it, that's what they do. They cover stuff up. That's what the government does. That's what the feds do. That's, they're there to white things out. That's what whiteout was invented for. You ever wondered why whiteout was invented? That's why. That's why. Like, why do we, I get back in the day, desk jobs probably typed something wrong and printed it out, need to take it out, typo, But no, that was created to help get rid of certain things that don't need to be seen. That was in official reports, in my opinion. That's my conspiracy, but that's just conspiracy. Either way, regardless of it, while I don't know, maybe not, the government could be covering up the fact that it was a lot of famous people at these Diddy's parties, and they're doing the same thing with Donald Trump right now. But my thing is, at the end of the day got to end, Candace. You got to choose a side. You can't flip-flop. You can't be wishy-washy. Are you for or against the people that lie to you? Because at a certain point, you were really for them. No, go them. Help them get elected, everything. Help push their causes, everything. But now all of a sudden, seeing that the people that support you don't support what's going on, it seems more better for you to align with them, the people that are putting money in your pockets, than the president who really isn't. While he's helping you get clout, he's not really funding your operation. So appease more to them. I get it. Understandable. Look, everybody does things to appeal to someone, right? For some reason, I'm an idiot, and I choose to be objective and speak my truth and just tell how I'm feeling, and instead of just playing into a base. Because I know that would get me way more subscribers, likes, comments that are more, positive than not. I know that would get me everything that I'm looking for when it comes to. But I at the end of the day, I would not sleep well at night if I chose to turn into a clown for whatever circus that is going on. I can't. That's just not me. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I wouldn't. There's been times where I have, and I've been like, damn, I really lied. Like, I don't feel good about that. I don't want to lie to you. I want to tell you my truth, and you just take it or leave it. And it might get to a point where you might annoy me so much that a comm might get nuked. And if the comm gets nuked, it's like, do these people really care that much? That's what I really want to see. No, that's why the comm got nuked. I want to see if they cared that much. Y'all are attacking me in my comments do it on Twitter. Get me trending, like, this isn't helping me. Like, y'all are saying all this bullshit, and I'm listening to the video. Like, I really never at any point defended anything he said. I was just more so giving him some grace. That's it. It's seeing who he was sitting with and trying to figure out why the person he was sitting with wasn't giving him grace. Because he was a troll himself. Charlamagne the guy is literally admitted to getting slapped in the street because we've seen it happen for him being a troll and trolling female rappers and rappers in general. And anybody really in pop culture and industry. At a certain point, Charlamagne had no filter. That's what got him so famous. And unfortunately, these kids realized, hey, if I want to get myself put on, I have to have no filter. I have to do stupid stuff. I have to say stupid things. That's what's going to get me to where I'm trying to go. Nowadays, nobody's gullible enough to just let it happen and just roll with the punches. We all feel like with our, keyboards that we have a voice. And I'm not saying you don't, but I'm just saying, at the end of the day, what we gonna do? Like, what are we doing? You gonna get rid of them or not? I'm all for not doing. I don't like Neon. I don't talk about them. You know what I'm saying, that's why I don't talk about them. Well, are we gonna do that or not? I don't know. It's odd to me. I still see this nigga with rappers and people like he didn't do the things he did. Like, clearly somebody forgave him. I don't know, man. Either way, I'm just like, why can't y'all get on them? Find out who these people are and chastise them. I'm just saying. To everybody that was on my ass on that Neon video, I hope y'all are here to help defend me against the Candace Owens fans, because I'm sure they didn't even make it to the end of this video. They down there right now. What the fuck, Michael? Candace Owens is not a house slave. She's telling, she's man. Look, look. To you typing, if you still letting the video play and you can hear my voice, look, hear me and hear me well. I don't give a fuck. I don't care what your hive mindset brain has spewed out into those comments. I don't care. Just know, if it gets too annoying, I'm going to nuke it, and you're just gonna go away. You're not gonna go to no other video to comment about it. You're just gonna go away. And that's just what it's gonna be. It is what it is. I am Savvy Mike in this. I am Savvy Mike TV. Peace.